It's a great day here at the International Conference on Decoding Aliphatic Components on Health, Performance, and Well-being. A lot of things are happening here at this Knowledge Fest. Foremost, I welcome all the participants to this conference. I welcome Dr. Sanjay Kumar Prajapati, who is a budding talent and true prospect of the future physical education, to render his keynote address on talent identification and pathway of performance. I also welcome Mr. Dilip Kumar, convener of the International Conference, and hand over the stage to introduce today's keynote speaker to the participants. Over to Mr. Dilip Kumar.
Hello everyone. It's a proud moment for me to introduce Dr. Sanjay Kumar Prajapati. So as obtained his master degree in physical education from Banaras Hindu University in 2011. He was awarded PhD in Banaras Hindu University in 2015. Presently, he is serving as Assistant Professor, Sports Authority of India, LNCPE, Trivandrum. He is a member of Indian Olympic Education Committee. He was the captain of BHU hockey men's team in 2010 and 11. His area of specialization in exercise physiology, research and statistics, anthropometry. He has participated in more than 15 workshops, conferences, and presented several research papers. He has published a book entitled Predicting Excellence in Field Hockey with ISBN number. He also published a chapter and more than 25 articles in various national and international journals. He is a life member of 4 professional bodies. He is advisory member of the World Research Forum of Engineer and Research Editorial Board, member in Journal of Academic Sports Scholar, and reviewer in international journals of basic and applied science and International Journal of Science and Physical Education. He was the committee for revision of curriculum of National Institute of Sports, Patiala, and Sai LNCP, Trivandrum. He has represented 6 times in All India Inter-University Hockey Tournament and won bronze medal. Also represented KVS National Staff Game in 4 into 100 meter relay race and won gold medal. He was invited for many lectures as a resource person in different organizations. He has cleared UGC NET JRF in 2011 and 12. He received the Teacher Innovative Award by Arbindo Society in 2019. I once again welcome Dr. Sanjay Kumar Prajapati to render keynote address on the topic Talent Identification and Pathway of Performance. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dilip, sir. And thank you, Sofa, ma'am. Let me share the screen first.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to extend my gratitude and thanks to Bapu Degree College, who invited me here to brief about this topic in International Conference on Decoding Aliphatic Component of Health, Performance, and Well-being. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now, today my topic is talent identification and pathway to performance. So let me start first. After this session, what the participants are going to learn? What is the learning outcome? So first thing, the participants are going to learn what is talent identification and what is the pathway to performance. Then they will be able to understand why it is important, why we need that for identification of talent, why we need the pathway to performance, then when it should be done, when we can go for the identification of talent. Then how? What will be the procedure? So here in this session, the participants are going to learn, they will be able to understand what is talent identification, why it is important, when we are going to identify the talent, and what will be the process of identification of talent. Now, as you see here, this picture, the pathway of performance, it is not a single process. It is not a month process. It is not a yearly process. It will go throughout your life. Once we start the training in the foundation, and once we reach to the mastery level, so the pathway will start from the foundation to mastery level. In between, there will be the process of talent detection, talent identification, talent selection, and talent development. So here, what I mean to say, it is not a single year of identification. It is not a month in which you are going to identify the talent. It is a whole process from foundation to achieve the mastery level. Now, what is talent? So once we explain the talent, everybody is having different concept about the talent. Because we have some individual difference. Every people is having some difference. So they are having the different knowledge about the talent. What I'm going to say, the talent is evaluated today. Means whatever you are having today, that will be evaluated with a view of tomorrow. Means with a view of tomorrow, it means we are going to see the tomorrow future. We are going, if we search the talent today, that we are searching for tomorrow purpose, for future purpose. But it should be based on the things that happened yesterday. What you have training, what kind of training you have attained, what kind of training you have performed yesterday. Based on that, we will be evaluating a player or boy or a children today for the tomorrow, means for the future. So that is the talent that is explained by the Ross Tucker. Now, this is a simple question for the participants. Is there any age for to identify the talent? Is there any age for identification of talent? So I'm going to say no. So there is no particular age, because I'm going to explain you here. I'm going to give example. You might be knowing the Mani personality, famous personality. Okay. See, Sania Mirza. Okay. She started playing at the age of 6 years. And we know, the country know very well, the world know very well Sania Mirza, what she has achieved. Then the another personality, Dhyan Chand. He was the very famous hockey person. Okay, hockey player, Olympian. He started playing at the age of 16 years. Then the next, Sachin Tendulkar. He started playing cricket at the age of 11 years. Milkha Singh, legend personality. He started playing at the age of 20 years. Then the Saina Nehwal. She started playing at the age of 8 years. What I mean to say, there are the 5 personality, okay, famous personality. They started playing at the age of 6, 16, 11, 20, and 8 years. But they have achieved, they have succeeded in their sports. They have brought many laurels to the country. They are well-known personality in the country and world. So with this, I'm going to tell you one more thing. This person you know very well, I think. The name of this person is Srinivas Gowda. We have heard him about on internet, okay, because he ran with the Buffaloes and covered 100 meters in just 9.55 seconds. It is faster than the Bolt. But the reason behind covering the 100 meters in 9.55 seconds, he was running alongside a pair of buffaloes, and the speed generated was by the animals, by the buffalo, because what he was running with the buffaloes, and the speed of running was generated by the buffaloes. But the race was run in a slushy field. That also is a, we can call it as a resistance, which can be a speed deterrent. Okay, but he has some talent. Then only if a people is having talent, if a people is having the capability, then only he can run faster. Even if a normal person will run with the buffalo, he cannot compete this in this way. So he might have had some talent. So if we would have known, if we would have identified his talent at the early stage of his life, then he might have participated in the Olympic. He might have brought laurels to the country. Then the common words, we have some common words that is associated with the talent identification, that is related with the talent. First thing, raw ability. So what is raw ability? Raw ability means it is the ability once the person is not involved any kind of sports, any kind of physical activity, but we can say the boy is having ability to excel in the competition. The boy is having ability to participate in the game. So that we can call raw ability, and that is associated, that is a kind of talent words. Another one, psychological determination. In simple word, we are saying the boy is having the boy is psychologically determined. The boy is psychologically determined towards the sports. So if he was psychologically determined, so he may be having some talent. So that is also associated with the talent. Another one, unique ability. That is also sometime it is related to the talent. We can say the boy is having the unique ability to perform in the competition, to participate in any sports, any game. Even the genetics, sometimes genetics also can be compared with the talent, associate with the talent. Then the potential, we can say the boy is having the potential to participate, to compete in the competition. The boy is not participated in the sports, but he is having the potential to participate, to achieve something in the sports and game. Excelling, we can say the boy excelled in the competition. He can excel, he can achieve something for the nation. He's having the talent. Skill, generally we are talking this boy is very skillful. He's having the unique ability. He's very skillful. That is also associated with the talent. Elite, the boy is very elite. Okay, the person is elite. If he'll participate in the competition or any sports, he may win the competition, or we can say is an elite person. Even the gifted, some child are gifted. Okay, gifted means born with it. Some child, they are born with some physical ability. They born with some like qualities. So that is also kind of word that is associated with the talent. So these all are the common words that we might heard in the society that is associated with the identification of talent. Now, there is a talent terminology and process. So first, talent detection. What is talent detection? It is the discovery of potential performer who are currently not involved in the sports. Means the person, the boys, children, those who are not participating in any kind of sports, if we are detecting their talent, their potential to perform or to participate in the competition, that we can call as a talent detection. Talent identification, it is the process of recognizing current participants with the potential to become elite player. Means those who are involving, those who are doing any kind of sports, those who are taking part in any kind of sports, we are recognizing their potential from their participation, their potential to excel in the competition. So that is a talent identification. Now, the talent development. Talent development means it is something that nurturing of the talent. If we already have identified the talent, we have to nurture it. Otherwise, talent may miss out. So nurturing of the talent through different stages of the development. So we have stages of growth and development. So if we find out the talent, we have to nurture. We have to nurture in different stages of development through the deliberate practice put on for thousands of hours. So we have to nurture the talent. That can be called as a talent development. The next one, talent selection, the acceptance of individual into development process. So once the development done, we will be accepting that particular individual into the representative team. It can be if a person is playing football, it can be in football team, hockey team. It is based on the individual. So now there is some debatable misconception in talent identification and pathway of performance. So that even some misconception where we can debate, like I'm going to tell you the first one, relative age effect. What is relative age effect? It is a misconception. Okay, like the person, those who born, the children, those who born at the early month of the year, at the beginning of the year, okay, they will be better than those who born afterwards. Okay, it means if a person born in January or February of the particular year, he will be better than those who born in afterwards in the month, because the person who born in the Jan and Feb, they will be having the like some extra kind of talent. Okay, they will be more mature, more than those who born in the afterwards, like next half month of the year. Okay, so this is the misconception. We have to debate on this. Some people are saying the relative age effect is notifiable. It can have impact on the performance. Some people are saying it won't have any impact on the performance. So this is the debatable misconception. The another one, 10 years or 10,000 hours rule. Here, in many study, you will be finding if a person is having the practice of 10,000 hours or 10 years, he can excel in the competition. He can success, he can achieve the performance. But if we calculate the 10,000 hour, if a person is doing 4-hour practice daily, okay, so it can be 10 years. But if a person is doing 8 hours daily practice, then it will be 5 years. So here the debate can be there. Suppose one person is doing 4 hours practice, another one is doing 8 hours practice. So here the 10 year or 10,000 hour rule says if you are doing 10,000 hour practice, you will be able to achieve the performance. You will be able to achieve the performance in sports. So if you are doing 8 hours practice, it means it will take 5 years only. It will take 5 years only, but this is not correct. Okay, so debate can be there. Some debate, some discussion with the experts, it is debatable. We have to have debate on this particular topic. Then early specialization. Early specialization also is a misconception, debatable misconception, where we have to debate if a person is going to opt any sports at early age of his life, what are going to happen? The person will be having the very specific physical development. Very specific physical development. Suppose, for example, if a person opted football at the early stage of his life and he's practicing a football only, if a child opted football, okay, so he will be having the very specific physical development related to the football. Okay, then he will be social isolation will be there for him. Okay, he will be having the very limited experience. He will be having the experience about the football. Okay, but that is very limited. Then early specialization increase the risk of injury. And early specialization also, if the person is opted sports or games in the early stages of life, he or she will be over dependent. So here also we should have the debate. Then another one, 2D and 4D finger ratio. What is 2D and 4D finger ratio? 2D is equal to, we can call the index finger, and 4D, that is ring finger. So some study says that if you are having the 2D or 4D finger ratio properly, if the low ratio is there between 2D and 4D finger ratio, the person will be good in the sprinting event if it is low. Okay, so here also we can have debate. This is also is a debatable misconception. Now the talent identification. If we identify talent by test, suppose if you are conducting a test for speed, a test for muscular strength, if you are identifying talent by test, then the talent may miss out. After some time, talent may miss out. If you are selecting the athlete based on the test, if you have done test for muscular strength and you are selecting the particular child or particular boy as per the test, then also talent may miss out. Talent may miss out. What we have to do here, we have to go for the maintenance, keep the selected athlete in the sports, so that we can have regular training, regular program for him, and he or she may increase his ability. Then the potential predictor of performance. When we talk about the potential predictor of performance, what are the things by which we can predict the performance of a player? So there are the physical predictor, sociological predictor, physiological predictor, and psychological predictor. So there is some variables, like we can say in physical predictor: height, weight, body size, bone diameter, muscles girth, somatotype, body fat, growth. In the same way, sociological predictor: parental support, socioeconomic background, education, coach child interaction, hours in practice, cultural background. When we talk about the physiological predictor: aerobic predictor, anaerobic capacity, anaerobic power. And the psychological predictor, that is attention, motivation, and anxiety control, game intelligence, creative thinking, motor and technical skill, anticipation, decision making, concentration, and self-confidence. So these all are the potential that can predict the performance. Then the talent identification selection procedure. The selection criteria we should have based on the performance and competition. We should select the particular child based on their performance and competition. Also based on their heredity. Heredity, we can say some physiological factor, anthropometrical characteristics, genes, and neurological factor. Then the potential of overall physical appearance. So potential of fast development of speed. If a child is able to develop his speed very fastly, so based on that we can select a child. Development of maximum strength. Even the potential of biomotor skill or abilities like speed, strength, endurance, flexibility, and techniques. Potential of faster learning process compared to others, and learning efficiency. Example, like we can say the child is able to improve his coordinative abilities such as rhythm, reaction, balance, orientation, and differentiation. Potential of mental factor, intrinsic motivation. The child is having a will to participate, will to compete in the sports, even based on his personality and characters. And the load tolerance in terms of injury resistance or assessment of further trainability. That is very difficult to predict. Then identification of what sports fit to a kid. This identification will be based on the child motivation. We should consider the child motivation. When we are selecting a child for any sports, we should consider whether the child is motivated with that sports or not. That also we should think whether he is internally motivated or externally motivated about that sports. The another one, the parents. If a child is selected to participate, to play any sports, whether the parents of their child supporting of that child to participate in that particular sports or not. Definitely, if a child want to play football and the parents not allowing him to play football, so we have to consult with the parents. Okay, we have to go with the child, because if the child is not interested, if the child is not motivated, even the parents want the child to play any sports, he won't participate, he won't play in a right manner. The another one is interest. We have to see the interest of the child also, whether the child is interested to participate in particular sports or not. Then the objectivity. So these four things are there. On these four things, we should identify the particular sports that fit to the particular kid. Then the influence of talent. There are many things that can influence, that can have impact on the talent. Like award, the child can be motivated with the award. Okay, that if we play sports and something is there outside award, okay, like prize money, if it is outside, we will be able to perform better. Okay, if we are influencing by that particular things. So these all are the influencer, these all have impact on the talent. Family, peer group, subject teacher, PE teacher, coach, sports administrator, and friends. So these all are the influencer on talent. There is some kind of influence they will be putting on the talent. Like award, if award is there, the child will be able to perform better. Family, if family is supporting the child, okay, he will have all the supports from the family, he can perform better. If his subject teacher or PE teacher or coach are supporting him, he will be able to perform. Okay, he will be able to show his talent. If friends and peer group are supporting him properly, also he will be able to perform better. And the sports administrator, if he's getting all the facility, all the infrastructure properly, so he will be able to perform better, and he will be able to show his talent. Then the talent identification, on what basis? Okay, the first thing, game or competition performance. We should select a child, we should identify a child talent based on their game or competition performance. The another thing, the coach observation. Then the next one, sports science testing. What we are doing, we are simply taking a test. Okay, based on the test, we are identifying the talent. So here, what I mean to say, we have to have the game or competition performance of a particular child. Then there should be some point for the coach observation also, because one day they can perform better in the competition. But if they perform repeatedly, continuous, okay, so the coach will be able to know who is better, who is best, who is good, who is average. And after that, sports science testing should be there, so that we will be able to know their physiological capacity, psychological capacity, anthropometrical area. Okay, so these all are things we'll be able to know through the sports science testing. Now the structure of talent identification. What structure we should follow when we move towards the identification of talent? So the talent identification may be prepared for each state. It should be done based on the state in conjunction with the state association, so that each and every section of the society is taken into consideration. Okay, state-wise, why? Because we have in like if we talk about our country, we have different states with the different demographic things, with the different environment, with the different kind of population. So if we applied same kind of talent identification, if we impose same kind of talent identification on every state, so it may not work. So we have to plan talent identification for each state based on their demographic area, based on their environmental area, based on the population, based on the physical structure of the population. Okay, so the each and every section of the society will be benefited. Each and every section of the society will be taken into the consideration. Even alongside with the talent indicator from the different sports science, separate template to assess the playing ability may be developed. So that can be developed by the testing of sports science and in consultation of the expert of the game. So this assessing of playing ability can be developed by the consultation with the particular expert of the game or the sports science. So this structure can be followed for the identification of talent. Now the key consideration in identification of talent, the physiological and anthropometrical profile of the player should be there. Profiling should be undertaken at each age group and involve longitudinal assessment. This should not be a one-time assessment. This should not be a two-time assessment. It should be longitudinal assessment. Systematic observation criteria should be developed to help coaches to identify the talented player. So we have to develop the systematic observation, like I explained the coach observation. So that should have a systematic observation, so that we'll be able to identify the talent player. Collaborative research between sports scientists and those involved in the talent identification process should be there. The process of developing talented player cannot rely solely on technical and physical ability. So there are many things that can have impact on the performance, that can have impact on the talent. So we should not rely on the technical and physical ability only. The potential impact of a young player life experience in sporting performance at a given time must be considered. Also, the experience of the player can be considered. Physical, physiological, and technical consideration of the young talent. The process of talent identification must be recognized the complexity of childhood, the multitude of social variables, and their potential influence on the performance at a given time. So the process we have to follow, the process of the recognizing talent identification, even the complexity of child. So these all are the key consideration in identification and development of talent. So how can we go for the talent development? What is the process of talent development? The first, vision and philosophy of sports has to be developed. So vision and philosophy of sports has to be developed. Then the national curriculum of a sports has to be developed. A national curriculum. And the third one, the playing philosophy of a sports in the country has to be developed. Then the coaching philosophy of a sport in the country has to be developed. Now the right age for a sports person. What is the right age to begin the sports or to get into the specialization in sports? So when we talk about the, like support, if you take the sports table tennis, so the right age to start the sports, that is 8 to 9 years of age. The child has to start the sports at the age of 8 to 9 years, but he has to get into the specialization at the age of 13 to 14 years. We are not talking about the specialization, early specialization. We should start playing, we should begin practicing the sports table tennis at the age of 8 to 9 years, but we should get into the specialization at the age of 13 to 14 years. Likewise, if you take example of boxing, we have to start practice at the age of 13 to 15 years, but we should get into the specialization at the age of 16 to 17 years. So this kind of format we can follow for the right age of sports person. Now, talent for sport specialization. The early specialization talent are rhythmic gymnastics. Here, in rhythmic gymnastics, the child can start at the early age, gymnastic, diving, and swimming. These all are the games that can be taken at the early stage of life. Okay, and after that, late specialization sports can be all other sports. So the early specialization is having very specific physical development, risk of injuries, social isolation, over-dependent, even the burnout and early retirement. Because if you are performing sports, if you are getting into the any sports at the early specialization, even at the early stage, okay, you may at the when you reach at certain age level, you may have burnout. Even the early retirement will be there if you opt sports at the early stage of your life. When it occur in late specialization sports, youth development, it should be under 6 to under 9. It can be called as a discovery phase of a sports. There we can provide the learning game by playing game. The child can learn the game by playing the game. Another stage, the under 10 to under 13 years, that can be called as a skill acquisition stage. There, learning the functional game skill. Here, we should teach the child the functional game skill. Another one, under 14 to under 16 years, the game training phase will be there. Here, the learning how to play as a team. If it is individual sports, how to play in individual sports. If it is team sports, then how to play as a team. And the under 17 and above, the performance phase. So learning how to win as a team. If you are participating in team game, we should learn how to participate in the team game, how to win it team game. Even if it is individual, we have to learn how to win individual game. Then only we can achieve success. Then only we can reach to success. Then the athlete coach support services. Who all peoples are supporting the athlete coach services? The first one is sports science, sports scientist. Because how we come to know this child is having the better physical abilities, this child is having the better psychological abilities, that all things will be able to know through the sports science testing. So sports science is going to help the athlete coach support services. Then strength and conditioning, the how to train the child, how to train the athlete to reach at high highest performance stage or to win the competition. Okay, so this is also a supporting people. The strength and conditioning also is a support services for the athlete and coaches. Even the athlete career education, this can be as a supporter, this can be as a support services for athlete and coaches. If the coaches are having some kind of program, okay, some kind of courses, so that they can update their knowledge, even in the athlete also in the same way, that can provide some support services for athlete and coaches. And in the sports medicine, definitely the whenever in most of the game the child are getting injury, the athletes are getting injury, so sports medicine definitely gonna to help in sport support services of athlete and coaches. The phases of talent. So to identify and develop world-class talent require a structured sport specific pathway unique to the sports that encompasses 4 key phases of intervention, in which the first one, planning and preparation. So we should have a proper plan in the phases of talent, like talent strategy. In the strategy, we should have vision of talent identification. Even the key performance indicator we should know. When we are going for the identification of talent, we should know what is the key performance indicator for identification of talent. What is the key performance indicator to win the competition. Even the we should analyze the performance gap. Where is the gap particular? If a player is having a proper mental abilities, but he is not having the physical ability properly, so we should find a gap. Where is the performance gap? Even of the progression of the pathway, whether the child is moving, whether the child is progressing in the pathway properly or not. The another stage is profiling and recruitment. So here we have to have the talent profile of a particular player, and we should know how it is developed. If we are having the talent profile of a player, so how it is developed? Does it consider future potential? Does it consider future potential? Whether it is mentioned all the abilities which are going to help in the performance or not. Even the recruitment of a player, where we have to recruit it and how we have to go for the recruitment of a player, this all can be done in the profiling and recruitment. Even the assessment criteria also, how we are going to assess the athlete history, even the competition result we should know, and skill, physical ability of a player. This all can be done in the profiling and recruitment. And the third criteria is talent confirmation. When we talk about the talent confirmation, it should be planned confirmation program we should have. The confirmation program we should have a planned confirmation program, where we should have a proper purpose of this talent confirmation. We should have duration, even what technique we are going to use to confirm the talent. Even the athlete responsiveness should be there, like expected progression profile. What is the profile of a player and what we are expecting the profile of a player for the participate in the competition to achieve the performance in the competition. So that's all things should be there in the talent confirmation. Then the talent development. In the talent development section, we can have the engagement of player with the high performance coach. Talent training, the expected training hours, the talent training volume, even the contact time. Monitoring and training camps should be there in the talent development process. Even we have to follow the competition strategy, like expectation, number of exposure, reward system, and assisting transitional to seniors. a proper mapping of the individual should be developed. Proper mapping means all the profile should be developed. Even the benchmark can be set in the talent development section. Benchmark for participating, for competing in the competition, that can be developed in the talent development phase. So these all are the phases of talent: planning and preparation, profiling and recruitment, talent confirmation, and talent development. Talent development program, we have to, once we are providing the variety of sports to a child, we should have sampling process. Like if a child is participating in many sports, we should have the sampling process. After that, we can go for the directed sampling. We can select a child, okay, for a few games. Then we can go to the broader specialization, okay. Then after that, we can provide a particular game to a child. Like I told, we have to start practicing early, but we have to get into the specialization after certain period. So in that way we can follow a talent development program. So talent is a universal gift, but it takes a lot of courage to use it. Don't be afraid to be the best. Now I'm going to tell you the pathway performance. So what is the pathway to performance? It is a roadmap, we can say. It is a roadmap to guide all stakeholders in the development of athlete from foundation to mastery. The pathway explained like people participate in sports for a variety of reasons. There is a reason like active lifestyle. Some parents are allowing their child to have the active lifestyle. That because of that they are providing sports. Another reason is for sports participation. Then for a sport excellence. So these all are the three format are there. Okay, the reason why they are participating in sports: for active lifestyle, for sports participation, and for sports excellence. So the framework to represent these pathway in sports and direct research is called FTM. That is stand for foundation. Foundation can be called as active lifestyle and sports participation. Those who done foundation level, okay, they can have active lifestyle and sports participation also. And the talent, elite, and mastery, that is the athlete's pathway for those who desire to excel in the chosen sports. Now the pathway to performance, once we talk about the foundation one, we have to start from the foundation one to the mastery level. So we have to start from the foundation one. The foundation ones, the phase we have to begin with the learning and acquisition of basic movement. Here we have to focus on acquisition of fundamental movements. Even in the informal playful learning environment, we have to provide, like I told, the learning game by playing game. So we have to provide the playful environment, and here we have to more and more focus on the fundamental movement skill. Then the fundamental 2, extension and refinement of movement. After the fundamental movement, we have to go for the extension and refinement of movement. Here, the initial introduction to sports. We have to introduce sports to a child. Even the recreational involvement in sports. We can involve a child in sports for the recreational purpose. Then the foundation 3, that is sports specific commitment and competition. The commitment to discipline, specific training, and skill development. And the formal involvement in the competition. We should involve a child in the competition as a formal involvement. The talent 1, the next phase is the talent 1, the demonstration of potential. Initial demonstration of talent and potential for high performance. Expression of interest to enter into the high performance pathway. Then the talent 2, the verification of talent. Here we have to go for the verification of talent and potential during camps and trial periods. Even the initial exposure to high performance training environment should be there. The talent 3, practicing and achieving, increase investment in practice and competition, progression toward junior and under 23 benchmark performance standard should be there. Talent 4, breakthrough and rewards, achievement of a breakthrough performance, full-time training for high performance with the high performance squad. In talent 4 section, a child has to have full-time training with the high performance coaches or high performance squad. Now the elite 1. So it is a representation phase where the selection to the senior national team, the athlete will be having the selection for the senior national team and the progression toward world-class performance standard. And he'll be moving towards the world-class performance standard. And the elite 2, the phase is success. Here, the podium success as a major international benchmark event. The athlete should have the podium success at the proper benchmark event. Demonstrated team leadership and personal excellence. He has to demonstrate the team leadership and personal excellence, personal performance. The next, he will reach to the mastery, that is sustained success. The phase is sustained success. Here, the repeated international podium success over multiple years. The athlete has to perform. The athlete has to perform at international podium, and he has to succeed over multiple years. So that can be called as a sustained success. So this is the pathway to performance where we can follow from foundation to mastery level. Then the national leadership and support structure. Once we follow the pathway to performance, the support, what kind of support structure should be there? Once we are there in the foundation 1, the support should be provided from the state. Once we reach the foundation 2, extension and refinement of movement, it can shift it to the state association. And sports specific commitment and competition, that is foundation 2, that can be handled by the sports club. When the athlete reaches to the talent phase and he demonstrates his potential, that can be taken into account, that can be tested by the state development squad, and that can be verified by the national development squad. And practicing and achieving with the national squad, with the state development squad, or with the high performance coaches, that can be done by the National Sports Federation and Sports Authority of India. Talent 4, that breakthrough the reward, okay, that can be done in the NCOE, National Center of Excellence. And then the athlete can success in India national team. He can represent the national team and he can succeed also. And once the athlete will reach to the mastery level, that is sustained success, then he followed the national performance pathway. Then here, when we talk about the competition, the foundation 1 to talent 1, the athlete has to go for the club development. So this is the structure for club development. Club development should look after into the foundation 1 to talent 1. And when we talk about the talent 2, that is talent identification, that can be done by the state development. Talent 3 or talent 2, that also can be together for the national development squad and performance pathway entry point. And the performance pathway, once we talk about the performance pathway, that is talent 4 or elite 1, that can be handled by the State Institute, Academy of Sports program. Even elite 1, elite 2 and mastery, that can be handled by the National Center of Excellence. Then what is the competition opportunity at this particular stage, foundation 1 to mastery? The competition opportunity, like foundation 1 to talent 1, so there should not be any competition. The the child should not play any kind of competition. And even the talent 1 to talent 3 or foundation 3 to talent 4, they can have the inter club competition. Even foundation 3 to mastery level, they can have the state championship. Even they can participate in the junior state, senior state. Talent 2 to elite 2, they can have mastery, they can have the national championship. Even Asia under 16, 18, 21. Talent 3 to mastery, they can have the junior world championship, under 23 championship they can play. Even elite 2 to mastery, World Cup event, they can participate in the World Cup event or World Championship or Olympic or Paralympic game. So these all are the competition opportunity. At what stage they should play this competition. This is the pathway where we can follow a proper system to reach to the performance. Now, from my side, there is some recommendation when we move towards the identification of talent or performance pathway. First, we should go for the health screening of a child. Then the anthropometrical assessment should be there. We should know the particular growth and development of the athlete, whether the athlete is going to develop the fast, he's having the fast development, and even the psychological qualities we should assess. We should have aptitude test of the particular athlete. Even we should know the motor qualities of the athlete, growth and development, growth and maturation, the genetic and talent that can be identified by the anthropometrical assessment, even the muscle fiber composition. So these all are the recommendations from my side for identification of talent. These all are the, we can first, once we go for that identification of talent, we should know all all those things. So thank you so much for this session. Hope it is fruitful. It is going to provide some knowledge to other participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay Prajapati ji. It was a very informative and educative keynote address. We indeed have understood how important talent identification and pathway of performance is in the process of nurturing achievements. Here are a few questions posted. I hope you would like to take it, sir.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
So the first question is there an edge for people to achieve better if they start early?
Ma'am, as I told, early specialization is not good. So for some sports, we can start early. So here I would prefer better, we should provide a child variety of sports. So once the child involved in the variety of sports, from that we can select a child, we can select some game. Like if we are providing one team game, one individual game, or 2 team game, 2 individual game. So after 3 to 4 years, we can identify one individual and team game for a particular child. Then after some time, we can ask him to get into the specialization in a particular sports based on his interest, based on his motivation, based on the parental support, even based on the coach and teacher's recommendation, so that he will be able to participate, he will be able to achieve the success in that particular sports.
Sir, is there anything serious happening or a roadmap to identify potential talent in India? Are there any schemes or something like something happening in India as on today?
Yeah. There is a scheme in SAI, ma'am, talent and identification scheme in SAI. So based on that, some some like state-wise in SAI centers, they are identifying the talent. Talent search scheme are there in the SAI, Sports Authority of India.
Okay, sir. Can talent identification promise us guaranteed results in sports at a world scenario?
Ma'am, nobody can give the guarantee. It is the athlete dedication, the athlete determination towards the sports only can provide the guarantee whether he or she is going to success in the competition or sports. We are there for support, coaches are there for support, sports scientists are there for support, but definitely it is the one who are going to do the athletes. So their psychological determination, their efforts are going to help in the competition. So we cannot give a guarantee for particular things.
True, sir. Very true. Sir, with reference to all the research at hand, can we have standards for talent identification for every sports activities designed?
Yeah, we have the standard, ma'am. As per like SAI following some standard, they have particular tests for each sports. Sports Authority of India, like 20 or something game. So they have particular talent identification tested for each sport. So that system we can follow.
Sir, for the physical education fraternity, for the in terms of them, where they can find these talent identification sources, because they are at the grassroots level who can identify these talents and nurture to some extent. So where they can find these resources, sir?
These resources they can find on the Sports Authority of India portal. They can find the Australian Sports portal. Even on the internet, there are many sites. If they search and the suppose sports talent search scheme, if they search there, they will be finding more and more option there. So there are a lot of, even I will be able to provide if somebody are interested to take some like a document type.
Thank you so much, sir. That has been wonderful of you. And one last question. What type of activities would you suggest for kids right from 1 year age or 2 years age, so that they would be a talent when they reach the actual age of talent recognition?
1 year age activity, like they are from parents are giving the massage of particular child. So once they born it, they are moving their hands, they are moving their leg. That is the activity. Once they move towards, like when they are crawling and all, once they are asking them to walk, that is the movement, that is the physical activity. So if you provide a simple, if they like gradually increasing their height, 2 years of age, 3 years of age, if you provide a simple ball, they will be like kicking the ball. So that is that kind of activity. So we have to have some creativeness. We have to have some innovative ideas. So once we provide any kind of activity to child, but at that stage, we should have some safety, because if you provide any sport, the child should not get injured. So any kind of activity we can provide, but that should be related to the particular age of a child, and child should not get any kind of injury or any kind of like problems.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful enlightening session. We have had a very good source of knowledge through you, and hope this will continue, and people will start hereafter taking this knowledge to a new level. And thank you once again for being the keynote addressee at this conference, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm thankful to Bapu Degree College who has given this opportunity. Thank you so much. Hope I have given answer for all the question. Thank you so much.